Hey, what's up, dudes? HW here, and today we are talking about the brand new and very free, by the way, 100% free AI Kemper Profile Pack from Tone Junkie. HW, that sounds fancy. AI, what's that? You know, what does this have to do with Kemper Profiles? What's an AI Kemper Profile? It sounds fancy, but it's really not that fancy. It's actually quite simple. I just went back through the Kemper Everything Pack, and I just pulled out some of my favorite old amps, just ones that I really liked. And I paired them with some of the new Tone Junkie AI IRs. Now, a lot of people on the Kemper don't use IRs, and that's 100% fine. You really don't need to. But I want to show you today how it can give you a ton of tonal options, and you can download this pack for free because it's 15 brand new creations, I'll call them. They're, old profiles with new cabinets, and I've liquified them because I either thought it would be cool to give you a different tone stack, or I remembered in a lot of cases, where the straight up and down settings were. So these are 15 liquid profiles that utilize the new AI IRs. What's an AI IR? That's not really that fancy either. It's just a normal IR, but there's one extra process in the step where we can make sure we eliminate any coloration that's brought in on like the flat power amp that's used to shoot the IRs. So all that to say, these IRs sound exactly like the cabs. And when you have the choice of speaker and mics and everything, and you pair it with a great profile, you have all of these options right here. So here is the 62 Magneton 440. And I want to show you this with 3 different cabinets. All of these use the 121 and the 545. My favorite mic combo, but here's my 3 kind of favorite speakers in the world. Same amp, same settings. They all sound like this. So do a Greenback H30 and then the Alnico Silver. Okay, so those all sound great. To me, the Greenback is a little more present. The H30 has a little more, maybe less extended high end, but more treble, more in the 3,500 area. And the X profile would be the Alnico Silver, 66 Alnico Silver out of a Vox. That is the pokiest, the sort of brightest, and in my opinion, a really, really killer match for this amplifier, not one you would normally find. Just has a great vintage growl. Just really nice. I love that. I think that's a really great tone. Those are kind of my 3 go-to speakers, and those speakers are also all in the IR free pack. But let me show you some of the other stuff in here. I took the AC44 and I paired it with a couple speakers that were a bit different than what you might normally get. One is a 15-inch JBL that's in like a big Vibroverb, paired that with the AC44, which is kind of a made-up amp anyway. And then I also just put that with a regular speaker, the H30, which I think is a great choice for that amp. And then we went with something also weird, the AC44 through the Bandmaster cabinet. And you end up with very different results from all of these. Check it out. All right, so there you can hear how radically different those speakers and cabinets sound. Now we're dealing with a ton of differences. Alnico versus ceramic, 15-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch speaker. Those speaker cabs could not be more different. But that's the big difference a speaker can make. And depending on your tone, your guitar, the amp, it all makes a big difference. Now, any one of those sounds could fit well in a mix. It just depends on which mix. What are you going after? What's the part? That's why it's great to have all these things as like tricks in your bag. And there's all these really happy accidents that occur when you pair things that you wouldn't think go well together with stuff that just is unexpected. And you really do run into some really musical stuff. Now, obviously, I've picked up this Charvel now. And I want to show you an old Marshall JMP1 dialed in for a pretty vintagey tone. I'd call this like a pushed plexi or maybe even a modded plexi. But really it's just a tight vintage tone. And it's a JMP1. Ran it through a 2-power amp to profile it, but the cabinet is a V30. But here I want to show you what post EQ can do, because here's V30 and the V30 IR and the V30 mid IR. So we're really pushing the mid range, and it gives you two very different voices of the same rig, almost as though an engineer was just really sculpting your sound for the mix. And it's a pretty big change. Okay, so obviously that's a lot more mid-pushed, and you might be after that sound in a rock environment. You might not be after that sound in a rock environment. But one thing that's also cool is you can just, instead of just pushing mid-range, you might just want to tailor a little high-end to come down. So here, I'm using a Skylark with the Alnico speaker on a Royer 121. So plenty of high-end coming off of both of those elements, a ribbon microphone and an Alnico speaker off a little Gibson, like Champ kind of thing. Also, a combination you never really get in the real world. But because now I've got this warm EQ, I get an especially lovely tone out of the neck of this Japanese Fender. Here's like a wide range humbucker. Hear how even with that brightness, there still isn't a ton of ear fatiguey frequencies. It's actually kind of a warm sound. That's because we're really shelving a lot of 2800 and above. Now, if I take that same setup and I just apply a little different mid-range EQ, which again is all in here, it's a separate profile in here, and you're able to get a different sound. Now it's mid-range push, and you actually are going to hear more high-end, but you're going to hear more emphasis in the mid-range, which is a different take on the sound. Hear how you can hear more bite? We're not as warm, but we still have a bunch of fullness. Why? Words don't really capture a sound accurately, but what we heard before was less high end would give us emphasis on other frequencies. So less high end means the other frequencies can all come out. But now we're actually increasing mid range in relation to treble, thus giving us also a thick sound. Both of these sounds I would describe as full or thick, but the first one's warm. It quite literally has less high end. Sorry, it has more low end, less high end. But the mid-rangey one is increased mid-range in relation to the bass and treble, but there's not less of it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Now on the telly, you get a lot of that bridge to come out. And that's really great because on a thinner pickup like that, you need the mid-range, but you still want that bite. All right, anyway, that's enough IR talk for the Kemper. A lot of you guys are probably not even using IRs, not even considering them. You don't even change the cap on your Kemper. Check it out. I made you these 15 because I really think it's something you should try. And if you like them, there's a whole collection of IRs, AI IRs from Tone Junkie that are out there. Cool. If not, enjoy these. Maybe even download the IR free pack. There's a new free pack of a really popular speaker that I think is popular in my head. It's actually not that popular. But if you're a Tone Junkie fan, a Tone Junkie customer, one of my friends, it's a speaker we used a ton in the early years. I would say the first 3-4 years of Tone Junkie were like 60% this speaker. It's the Scumback M75. There's a whole other video on the channel about it probably by now. And check it out. That's a really cool one. I'm going to play you out with a cool sound. I'm actually just going to put a tube screamer for extra mid-range on this thing. That is a good tone.